What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and this one we have why people are fleeing Australia. My thoughts. Before we dive into this video, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, get a video a thumbs up, and if you would like to support this channel further, there's a Patreon link in the description. Hit the link and receive your exclusive benefits. And this was made a couple months ago, so let's hear his thoughts on what's going on in the land down under.
I never thought I'd have to make the video I'm about to make on why so many Aussies are leaving Australia and how there's so many people out there that just don't get why it is. They live in this bubble that doesn't allow them to have any empathy for the majority of Australians out there. This has come from the comments that I get. People going, don't let the door hit you on the way out. You can't cut it in Australia. That's why you have to leave. You're a sook. You're a whinger. You're a millennial. Oh, you don't have a work ethic. Blah, 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 blah. All these comments of people that just can't comprehend why someone would leave Australia.
Yeah.
Their beautiful country, their home, their the place that they grew up. They just can't comprehend why anyone would want to leave. And the answer is quite simple, really. The reason
I feel like I completely understand where he's coming from, and I understand where the comments are coming from. He's coming from a standpoint of like, hey, like Australia is not perfect. Like there are a lot of issues today that for a lot of Australians make their situation very difficult, and to where life abroad might be a better option for them. But the people are like, and the comments are like, Australia, like this is our home, like we don't mind you leaving, like go do what's best for you, but don't talk about us on the way out. And so the comments are like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. You couldn't hack it, and getting a little disrespectful and name calling it. And that's just people like loving their country and having pride for their country and don't want to hear people talk about it. So I completely get it. Like I said, I completely get both sides. Right, when people leave the U.S. and go abroad, I completely understand it. If you're not in that upper 1%, if you're not well off, then like it's hard to live here. Like it's there's other countries that are better. If you're not well off, there's other countries that are better to live in for you. But again, as an American, you still don't want to hear like people constantly bashing the country, even though you know the country has a lot of issues and the difficulties and all these situations and homelessness and so many problems. But still, like you're still proud of your country. But anyways, we're gonna let him talk.
why there's honest, hard-working Australians leaving Australia is because they're economic prisoners in Australia. The cost of living has gotten so bad so quickly that it's better to pack up everything you've got and go somewhere else than it is to stick it out.
Exactly.
Because
what I said.
it may be hard for some of you to comprehend, but it's very, very difficult to just push through and stop sulking and make it work when there's no end in sight. And that's what the silent majority of Australians are facing right now. There is no foreseeable end to the cost of living crisis in Australia right now. There's no foreseeable end. For a lot of Australians, they're looking down the barrel of going, well, I can't afford a house. I can't afford to save up enough for one. I can barely afford to eat. My job's not paying me anymore. What the hell do I do? I'm told by everyone, oh, just suck it up. Just push through it. You're Australian. You can make this work. Bullshit. It's really just bubbling to the surface that a lot of Australians are putting their hands up and going, I'm done. I have more opportunities if I sell everything I own, get on a plane, and piss off to another country. That's how bad it's going. What's happening in Australia is unprecedented.
I would love. I mean, I've seen videos on the housing crisis. I've seen videos cost of living in Australia. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments section, though. Like, what do you guys think about it? Do you guys agree with him, or you guys more so disagree? I know a lot of times here in the U.S., I can't really speak for Australia because I've never lived there. I don't know the living conditions. I've just seen videos on it, but I don't know the conditions. A lot of people do just tell you like to suck it up, just push through. And I mean, at the end of the day, you feel like you just don't have a choice, so you do. And that's how I feel. There's been many days where I stressed about not having enough money. Where I stressed about, well, I'm just gonna have to leave YouTube because it doesn't pay enough, and I'm gonna have to figure something else out. And that's kind of what he's saying, not in a job sense, but in living in the country sense. I'm sure he's stressed about it plenty days, and he just, well, I just can't afford to live here anymore, and so I have to go. But again, those Australians that you just showing that country pride, and right, you don't want to hear, and you can understand that it's tough living conditions, but you also want to hear people bash your country. So I get it. I get it.
Australia's always been the country that everyone wants to go to because the opportunities are here. Now the reverse is happening. We have reverse migration. We have Australians that are like, the opportunities aren't here anymore. I'm going somewhere else. And I know there's going to be a bunch of you in the comments that are going to say, suck it up. You know, there's plenty of opportunities in Australia if you just work hard. Tell that to the majority of Australians who are just making ends meet, working 12 hours a day, coming home, barely affording food, rent, and electricity, and coming home and going, I'm working as hard as I possibly can, and I'm not getting any opportunities.
Yeah, that's tough.
Tell that to those Australians.
That's tough.
That's why there's so many Australians leaving. It's not that Australia isn't a beautiful country. It's not that Australia doesn't have an awesome culture. It's not like Australia doesn't have clean streets, and it's not that Australia is not safe. It's nothing to do with that. It simply comes down to the fact that there's a lot of Australians looking down the barrel of going from middle class to lower class into poverty, and don't want that to happen and want to do something about it. Now, is that
you just
sad?
gotta leave.
Yes, of course it's sad.
100%.
No one leaves the country that they're born in, the country they love, unless there's a reason to. For us,
Agree.
we were not getting ahead in Australia. We were slowly being churned through the meat grinder of Australia. We're slowly tearing our family apart. And 2 years later, we're finally living the life we've always wanted to live. The life that I pictured for myself and my family.
That's so
So
beautiful.
if you're sitting there with your 8 houses judging someone for wanting to leave Australia because they can't make it work, you should take a hard look at yourself and give yourself an uppercut. Honestly. How can you possibly judge someone for wanting a better life for themselves and their family?
I agree.
Because it's a pretty sad
I
state
completely agree. And I'm so glad for him that he has found a place for him and his family to live out the life that they imagine, to live out the life they pictured, and that they're happy where they're at. Like, that's an absolutely beautiful thing. And again, I don't think there should be judgment for him wanting to take his family and do that. But like I said in the beginning, I don't think it's necessarily a judgment thing. I think it's necessarily you probably bashed Australia on the way out, and so people are like, well, go then. Like, go. Don't let the door hit you. And you may have upset some people by some of the things that you said, but not because I don't see people be judging someone for leaving the country for better opportunity or for better quality of life. Like, but if you kind of talk about the country on the way out, there's going to be some people who hear that and will stand up for the country. So I think that's just kind of what it boils down to. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. If I'm completely wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. But I just feel that's kind of what it's boiling down to.
The affair is that leaving Australia and going to another country is even a viable solution to this problem. 20 years ago, it would have been complete madness to pack yourself up and leave Australia because there was opportunities. It was a place where you can get ahead. And honestly, I'm one of the lucky ones. I was able to leave Australia, and I've explained why I've been able to do that in other videos. But I was one of the lucky ones that was able to leave for a better life. There is a bunch of Australians right now that don't get that opportunity. There is a whole bunch of Australians right now that don't have that opportunity. These people are literally staring down the barrel of poverty and can do nothing about it. Because you can tell them to work harder, you can tell them to get a job, you can tell them to suck it up and save for a mortgage.
Yeah.
But we all know that that's not the case. We all know that these people are working hard. We all know these people are saving what they can. We all just live in this fantasy land that everyone can get ahead in Australia. It's just simply not the case anymore. Australia's cooked. That's the long and short of it.
Cool.
You have the landlord class and you have everyone else. And unfortunately, until something changes, this migration out of Australia is going to continue. Because why would you stay in Australia if you have no opportunity to get ahead? Why?
I feel that.
Because the beaches are pretty? Because The streets are clean. That's great if you can enjoy those beaches because you can afford a car and the price of fuel and drive down there. Yeah, that's fantastic. For most Australians, that's not even an option. They're just working to make ends meet. They're working to survive right now. And my fear is I just don't know how many Australians can do that for that much longer.
Yeah.
And you can sit here and shake your head and say what I'm saying is a cop-out. I'm a
No, I
pragmatic
get
person.
it.
I'm a realist.
I get it.
I don't just have rose-colored glasses on because I'm told by society that Australia is the place to be because it's the best country in the world. And the chances of my life getting better in Australia or getting worse definitely way towards getting worse. And I know
Gotcha.
that's not the case for everyone. There's some people out there that have made amazing opportunities in Australia, and I salute
Yes.
you. So you guys are doing an amazing job. But the vast majority aren't, and they're just the collateral damage of this landlord class. And I don't see anything changing anytime soon. So if you want my thoughts on why people are fleeing Australia, that's why. And that's why I think it's happening. And that's why I did it. And I'm sure that's why there's a disproportionately large number of Australians leaving Australia that would never have thought about that 10 years ago.
Again, I understand it from the standpoint of, I mean, yeah, the cost of living here in the U.S. is just ridiculous. And I've said so many times that if you're that in that upper 1%, I think like if you're rich, like rich, then the U.S. is like paradise. It's like Disney World. Like Disney World for kids is what the U.S. is for you because you have money to be able to do anything that you like, to be able to afford anything that you like. And so I don't think there's a better country on earth to be rich, to have all the money in. I think there's the most to do in the U.S. But for the vast majority of us who are not rich, I've seen videos on many other countries, and I do think there are other countries out there that will give you a better quality of life. You'll probably be happier. You'll have more purchasing power. You'll be able to do more, to buy more. But like he said, a lot of people don't have the option of leaving their country, and so you kind of get stuck. And then I just never imagined leaving the U.S. Although there probably are countries where I could have a better quality of life and do better. I just haven't imagined leaving the U.S. And it hasn't gotten so bad to the point like where financially where I'm like we're just not gonna make it here. So y'all let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, get a video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.